Hey guys and girls, it's David, and we're doing the second dog in this series. I told y'all it'd be Ugga, and here's Ugga. It's kind of funny. Ugga has probably been one of the most mispronounced names in my kennel, and it's pretty funny sometimes. I know it's not to a lot of people. It's like UGA. That's Ooga. I've heard him called Ooga, Ugla. How do you say that name? All kind of different stuff, but it's Ugga. I am a Georgia Bulldog fan, as I told you before. So how he got his name was simply, that's the mascot of Georgia, and I thought it would be a cool name for a beagle. UGA, University of Georgia, they call it Ugga. If you're a Bulldog fan, you already know that. But Ugga was born on 9/2, September the 2nd of 2013. So in about 4 months, a little over 3 months now, Ugga will turn 10 years old. And it's starting to show because his face is all gray, and that happens with older dogs. And, you know, he's starting to lose his hearing, so I don't really use Ugga as far as running much anymore. He still loves to go, but it's sad to watch an older dog when the other dogs bark, and the other dogs are barking this way, and Ugga hears it and runs that way. That happened to Junior, and it's happened to some other ones as they get older. They can't course, meaning they can't figure out where the other dogs are, and they'll run one way or the other. When they get with them now, they'll run and do fine. But we don't put Ugga through any of that. Ugga lives a life of ease. You see, Ugga is probably one of the most recognizable stud dogs that has been here. He's been bred a lot. And Ugga came out of Scooter. Scooter was his daddy, and his dam was Maria. So the sire was Scooter, the dam was Maria. And I can tell you that Scooter was a cross that my buddy Larry did out of a dog he had named Riley. Riley was one of the best jump dogs that was known in the parts where Larry lived, and Larry bought him. A man had him before Larry and just let Riley breed to whatever. People would come and get Riley, and Riley would go here, Riley would go there. Nobody really knew half the time where Riley was. And when Larry got Riley at an older age, he put an end to all that. He wouldn't let anybody breed to him, just himself. And so Larry did some breeding, but Larry told me some stories about Riley, which is his grandfather. He told me that he went to public land one time to hunt. Some guys were coming out. Larry got off work. He got there a little late, about 10 o'clock in the morning. And the guy said, well, there ain't no need you going in there. He said, we've done already been in there and searched. There was a big brush pile. And Larry said, yeah. And you'd have to know Larry. He was a little cocky at times. And Larry said, well, if you boys would like to see some rabbits come out of there, come on with me. And he took Riley in there, and he said the same brush pile that their dogs had been in, Riley jumped 3 rabbits out of it that morning. Now, I wasn't there. That's the story Larry told me. Larry's never been one to fluff anything up. Larry's a straight shooter, which I loved about Larry and everything. But Larry was about to lose the Riley bloodline because he got him when he was older and everything. So what he actually did, because he couldn't find any other way to get what he wanted Riley blood-wise, is he bred and Scooter, Ugga's daddy, was actually a brother-sister cross. I don't know if they were litter mate brother and sister. It doesn't really matter, but it was a brother-sister cross. Now, when you do that, you usually get a dog that is a superstar if those dogs were good, but you'll also get dogs that don't have enough sense to come in out of the rain. And that's exactly what happened. Scooter was a excellent dog, but his brother didn't have enough sense to come in out of the rain, and actually Larry took care of him the way Larry took care of stuff. But Ugga came out of, like I said, out of Scooter and Maria. And so I bred Scooter quite a bit in years past. Scooter's been dead for several years. And so we started breeding Ugga. Ugga is the daddy. Now, these are the dogs that I have at my kennel. There's several of you that have Ugga bloodline. If you bought dogs from me and bought very many, I would pretty much guarantee you've got something out of Ugga. Ugga is the daddy or the sire of Kirby, Happy Girl, Carolina, Josie, Delta, DePants, DeKeys, Bailey, Strawberry, Ghost, Fancy, Fireball, Diva, Jolly, Cinnamon, and Darling. That's just dogs that I can name at my kennel right now that this is the sire of. So I think very highly of this dog. Like I said, I named him after the mascot for Georgia. He has sired probably literally hundreds of puppies. Just a phenomenal dog that reproduces himself. And he now lives, like I said, he now lives the easy life. He just stays in here and gets fed. And every now and then we'll take him out and let him try to do a little run, try to keep him in shape pretty good. But he's ticked up real nice. You see he's just sitting here. This is this side of him. All he's got is just basically ticking all down the side. If you flip him around, it's ticking all down this side. He has one spot here on top of his back, but this is a beautiful red tick dog right here. And he reproduces not only beautiful pups, but pups that have a lot of hustle and hunt, and pups that have a lot of brains and stuff like that. So I want to go back and talk about that brother-sister cross. That's not one that I would do unless basically you're about to lose the bloodline, and if you're thinking out ahead, you would never have that problem. The reason Larry had the problem was he didn't have Riley for when he was younger. And so people talk about that, and I did some research on the internet at best I could come up with, and so I typed in, and you're welcome to do so to check me out and make sure I'm not telling you some lie, but there's line breeding and inbreeding, and those terms are thrown around. So I typed in, what is the difference in line breeding and inbreeding? Now obviously when we talk about the human race, anything that is blood related would be what we'd call incest, inbreeding, and that sort of thing. But when you go back and you think back to biblical times, I'm not trying to be gross or anything, but a lot of things came from that sort of thing in the beginning. And with the dog world, if you go back and trace every dog, they had to go back and they had to breed certain things to get certain things. I know there's a guy I was reading about that was breeding what we call I think it's the wire hair pointer. It's one of the pointer worlds anyway. And it took him 20 years of breeding, and he bred and had over 600 puppies, only to keep 62 in the span of 20 years to get this one certain blood that he was creating. And this is way, way back. So every hunting dog hound came out of when they started breeding. They started breeding certain things that got smaller to create the beagle. But all your hounds come out of the same original stuff if you go back and trace it back. So the funniest thing I saw on the internet was when they talked about what's the difference between inbreeding and line breeding. They said if it was a dud, if it was a breeding that resulted in no traits that were worthy and just a really horrible cross, it was called inbreeding. If it was successful, it was called line breeding. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I have a difference in opinion of that. I can tell you this, you can call it what you want, and they're saying that people say line breeding because it sounds better than inbreeding. What breeder wants to be known as someone who inbreeds? So you can take that however you want to, but I can tell you this, I have had very good success, and this was going back and picking Larry's brain on how to do stuff. I don't breed a son to the mother. I've covered this before because I feel like the dogs get more traits from the mother than they do from the father. They get more from the dam than the sire, in my opinion. Everybody can have a difference of opinions. But I will breed a daddy to daughter, daddy to, granddaddy to a granddaughter, not in succession, but I will breed one that way, an uncle to a niece, that sort of thing I will breed, and I've had good success. It's the best way I've had to clone, for lack of better words, the sire that I have. So Kirby's actually a Ugga bred back to Ugga's daughter, and he's a heck of a dog too, and he'll carry on. But the one thing when you do that you have to remember, when you breed, you try to take your breeding and breed up close to a point, and then you need to back away. If you keep breeding close, you get it too tight, and then you end up with a lot of different traits that are, dogs with no brains, dogs with physical problems, dogs with they won't reproduce like they need to, and that sort of thing is what you end up with. But whenever you breed any two dogs together that are closer related like that, like a daddy to a daughter or an uncle to a niece or whatever, what you will get is you will amplify the good traits in those two dogs, but you will also amplify any bad traits. So if you've got a dog that's real aggressive in the kennel and you breed it to a daughter, a daddy-daughter, you stand a better chance of getting a lot of dogs out of that litter that are more aggressive in the kennel. So different things. If they've got a fault, if they're loose mouth, of course I wouldn't breed that, but if they were, you'd end up with that amplified and so on and so forth. I think you get the picture. But anyhow, with Ugga, it's just 3 letters in his name that I took. And the U I put stands for unbelievable, the number of great dogs he has sired. I mean, not only has he sired and been the daddy to several puppies, I mean, any dog could do that. I mean, you know, you look at some people in the world and they go out and, boy, they've got a lot of kids with a lot of different people. Not trying to get on their case, but it's just throwing some more out in the world. They're not really a father to it. And in the dog world, you know, they're not fathers to the puppies and that sort of thing like we look at in the human race to be an example. But what he's produced has just been unbelievable. And the G, I put gritty. This dog here has had no problem with any of the terrain. He's had hard hunt when he's gone out. In his prime, this was one dynamic dog right here. And then the A stands for accomplishment. He's accomplished so much, leaving a lasting impact on Beagles on Fire, Kennels, and Bloodline. This dog here has affected a lot of people's packs because they've got dogs that come out of him, and they are having a good they're having good packs put together. I'm not saying they can't do it without this dog, but I'm saying it's added really good stuff to their kennels, and they've accomplished more in the success of their hunts and all that. But this is a very accomplished dog, and when he's dead and gone, we will still be talking about what impact he's had on the kennel here. And so, you know, we as people, we want people to be, it's not hard to really be that unbelievable in the world today. You say, what do you mean, David? Well, if you just do what you say you'll do and be honest, that's an unbelievable trait in today's world, sad to say. And gritty, you know, gritty for us as humans, I would say, for me, what I take away from that is when things get tough, do you give up? Or are you gritty? You're gonna stay the course. You're gonna fight your way through it and be gritty. And then A, what are you accomplishing in life? What lasting impression are you leaving? I hope that you are accomplishing a lot. It's not measured by finances and things of that nature and what title you have and all that. It's measured by what's inside you that you're passing on to those around you, whether you are their daddy or not. When you're dead and gone, what are people going to say that you accomplished in life? Money is only so much, but that doesn't even have anything to do with whether. I know a lot of people that have accomplished a lot of money that really, you can't take it with you when you go. So, you know, all you're doing is leaving it for your kids and grandkids to spend. I like to make money too, and I like to leave something for my kids, but that's not all I want to accomplish in life. And so I hope you've got something out of this. The next dog that I'll probably talk about may be a dog that is deceased that I can't put out here. I may talk about Sandy, but I've got so many more dogs to go in this series. I hope this has meant something to you. And like I said, so far on the Georgia one, nobody put any pictures or said anything, but maybe somebody will about old Ugga, because I know a lot of you guys have dogs out of Ugga. And it's been fantastic crosses. I've had a lot of questions about the Ugga bloodline from people that haven't bought from me, but you know, we just sold some puppies out of Ugga and Lulu. Great dogs. Ugga Midnight, great cross. You can just keep on going with a lot of stuff that's good out of this dog right here. So if you see Ugga's name as the sire when there's a dog up for sale, it's one you'd want to get a hold of. I don't know how much more direct out of Ugga we will have because he's getting older, so I have to breed him a little more sparingly than I used to. But anyhow, y'all have a great day, and thanks for watching.